This is episode 1380, 1380 into the 80s, my friend. Oh, girls just want to have fun. Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey, what the heck? We were just talking to each other, and here we are yet again. I am Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Today, we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. We bring you the segment Matthews News, and we will look at the segment we haven't done in a while, emails from email, and your not-so comments.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I took a little ride on Bart yesterday, coming home from work.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And a lovely lady, she was looking really nice, sat down in the car next to me, practically, I think, maybe not so close, but within a normal length. I guess what I'm trying to say is she was sitting there, and then all of a sudden a guy that looks like Andre 3000 walks in the car.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And he also happens to have a bottle of Jim Beam in his pocket, and
Mike's
he says to the girl,
Daily
"What's your phone number?"
Podcast.
I didn't know it was that easy,
Yeah!
but she was told him to go away. And then he didn't. And then I thought I was going to have to throw down mic time on him. And she actually got up and she said, "Don't follow me. I'm talking to someone on the phone." And she left the car, and then he went the other direction out the car. And I was like, wow, here I am. People observing yet again. Look who else walked in. And you know what? Let's stop saying again. Let's again. It's again. That's right. Hello, my commercial to Madame Rootabega. Lots of excitement on the part. Ooh. I was about to throw down. I was about to be Mike Hulk. I was going to turn into Mike Hulk, and my shirt was all going to rip off. It was going to be great. Look who else walked in.
Hello, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, our favorite guy in the whole world, Chris Christie, is in the news again.
Yeah, Chris Christie for president. Do you know that? Guys, I hate to tell you this, but that's never going to happen. But yeah, he's in the news. We'll find out exactly what in the segment Matthews News. Also, yesterday, there was something else that happened, and I can't remember. Crap. But that's okay. Because we have this to...
Oh my God!
Email from email and your calm and not so calm mess.
And here's today's podcast picture.
All these segments to do. Let's do the podcast picture first. That's a picture of me in Alameda. Yesterday's picture was at the fair, Alameda County Fair, but it was from a year ago, and it was the delicious chicken cooking away, barbecuing away. And there was... Oh, by the way, last show was called Frick. I don't know if you noticed the title, Frick. And there was an author named Frick. And he wrote, I think this was in the 19th century, he wrote a lot of work, poetry even, different writing, pieces of writing that involved asking why do we believe what we believe, and kind of railing against the church. And anyway, I didn't know all that about Frick, but F-R-I-K was his name. And it was also later on, was some weird character in the movies. But the picture is Alameda, around Bay Farm Island, something like that. Harbor Bay. Wait, there's Bay Fair, which is in San Leandro. It's very confusing in the Bay Area. We use the word Bay quite a bit. We don't ever say Michael Bay, though, because he's horrible. So you can see that picture at Mike's Daily Podcast. Yes, and now the wonderful segment, emails from email and your not so comments. This person commented on a post that I did yesterday, actually the post for Frick, where in the title I said, I talk about the CNN Punch-Out, Trump tweets, the California water tunnels, basically everything that we were talked about on the last show, and this guy, Steve, He's in Thousand Oaks, California, and Steve once had my show on his internet radio station. This was about 3 years ago. He liked it. He didn't like this type of show where I'm talking and reading news and commenting on news and whatnot. He liked the interviews I used to do with people that no one gave a crap about, but he loved those interviews, especially when they were country artists. He was all into that. Well, I don't do that so much anymore, Steve. And I don't even know if he listened to the show, but he said, Trump likes to toss chew toys at the press dogs. Okay, a little bit of dog imagery. That's fine. Dogs are great. So I wrote back, true, he has a crush. Which he does. He cannot block out the press. He's constantly looking at the press, and, he has to comment on everything. And then this guy replied, they sure lick it up while the big dog, Trump, pees on them. Once again, more dog imagery. Very good, Steve. We've got our canine thoughts running. And I said, that's not all he likes to pee on. To which Steve replied, and then he completely went off the dog imagery was no more. He said, that Russian pee story has already been proven as a fake, that Comey, no, he didn't put a comment. He didn't do a Comey, but he said, that Comey swallowed hook, line, and sinker, period. Well, we have Comey in the news today as well, kinda. But that's what people are saying that don't listen to my show. Or maybe he does, I don't know. But thanks for the comments, Steve. Good luck with your internet radio station. And, yeah. So, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com shows you all the places you can comment. You can email me, Mike'sDailyPodcast@gmail.com. You can help out the show through the Amazon link. Click on that Amazon link and buy whatever it is you're going to buy, and that helps us out, makes us happy. There's also the PayPal. You can donate that way and become an Inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster and get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters. All that at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. By the way, in the podcast picture, I'm wearing a Google shirt. And you know what? I do use Google Plus, and I use the Google URL shortener. It's goo.gol. And I use a couple things that they have. So what's wrong with me giving them a little plug, even though they make so much freaking money they don't need a plug from an unknown podcast like this, but whatever. It's time for the segment.
Matthews News.
It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election.
I love that.
President Trump spoke with President Xi Jinping. The president of China, yesterday to appeal for his help with what he called the growing threat posed by North Korea's nuclear weapons program. This according to the White House. The United States and China have clashed recently over Washington's arms sale to Taiwan, among other issues. Mr. Trump also spoke with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan about North Korea, and they highlighted their unity with respect to increasing pressure on the regime to change its dangerous path, the administration said. The discussions are taking place at a delicate time in the Asian region, and just several days before world leaders are set to converge in Germany for the Group of 20 summit meeting. This starts on Friday. The North Korea's belligerent behavior continues to dominate diplomatic talks, and analysts have warned of the possibility of another nuclear test. Mr. Trump had for months based his strategy on the hope that China, the North's chief ally and trading partner, could persuade Pyongyang to abandon their weapons program. But Mr. Trump acknowledged recently that those efforts had failed. As a result, he has sharply escalated pressure on China to do more to punish the North. The Trump administration last week imposed sanctions on a Chinese bank, accusing it of acting as a conduit for illicit North Korean financial activity, and Washington has taken a series of additional steps recently seen as affronts to Beijing, including accusing the Chinese government of human rights violations and selling $1.4 billion in weapons to Taiwan, which China regards as its territory. I stubbed my toe yesterday, and it's not the big toe, it's the toe next to the pinky toe, the little toe. And it got black and blue, and it fell off. No, hopefully it doesn't fall off, but it's still a little painful. And you know, I walk a lot, and I do not have time for that, because ain't nobody got time for that. I really hope that toe heals up. I'm just going to keep off it as much as possible today. Almost 60% of Americans disapprove of the job that President Trump is doing.
Which is a very good thing. Which is a very, very good thing.
This according to Gallup's daily tracking poll. The disapproval rating, 57%. Yes, 57% is, it's slightly lower than when Trump reached record disapproval of 60% during mid-June. So he's doing better.
I know what's good and bad. This is a fine-tuned machine.
And you know what else? He inherited a mess.
I inherited a mess. It's a mess.
Between the disapproval and approval ratings, there is a 20-point percentage difference with 30... Why are you saying this, The Hill? Oh. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to go into numbers and all that crap. Why? Hey, so back to Chris Christie now. We were talking about Chris Christie earlier. Valentino and Bison are huge fans. The New Jersey governor, he is still the governor of New Jersey, believe it or not. He was photographed lounging at a deserted state-owned beach yesterday. A beach that has been closed to all other New Jerseyans amid a government shutdown that Christie ordered on Friday. He orders the shutdown Friday. The beach is closed. Sunday, he goes, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to lay out in the sun. It's a beautiful summer day. The photos, thanks to NJ Advanced Media's NJ.com, showed Christie and his family hanging out at the Island Beach State Park on Sunday afternoon before Christie appeared in Trenton for a press conference on the shutdown. Geez, he crammed a lot into that day. Chris Christie on Friday ordered the shutdown of non-essential services, including state parks. I'm sorry. I don't know if that means anything to you. To me, that means everything. You close down my local parks. I get so irate. I'm glad I'm not in New Jersey right now, and I feel for you New Jerseyans that have to deal with Christie. Amid a stalemate over whether to include legislation affecting the state's largest health insurer in the budget, Christie's administration placed the photo of Democratic Assembly Speaker Vincent Prieto, whom it's blaming for the shutdown, on signs announcing the parks are closed. Wow. Wow, shuts wow. The shutdown took effect Saturday, shuttering parks and other public sites and disrupting ferry services to Liberty and Ellis Islands. Damn! And this is 4th of July weekend. People are looking for things to do, as I am working here on this Monday. Also closed was Island Beach State Park, where the state owns a residence that the governor can use. This guy, look at this guy. He said earlier that, I know, I once did that, and Haley came in, because we worked together. Haley came in from the Daily Haley and said to me, Mike, you know you offended everybody in New Jersey when you did that accent. I said, what? So do I offend all British people when I talk like this? No, Mike, they find that endearing. Endearingly stupid. Once again, I have to tell you, I'm rewatching the Doc Martin series. It's the story of a guy who has no patience for his patients. He's a doctor, and he's hilarious, and it's shot in this beautiful little town in Cornwall, and I love it, and I love Carolina What's-Her-Face, who plays Louiser in the show, and they talk like this. Doctor, I don't know what you're talking about. I love that. Thank you for listening to the show, by the way. I listened back to the show about a week ago where I was talking about how I got mad at people that didn't like U2. You can hate U2 if you want to. You can leave your friends behind, because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine. And I just wanted to say that you can hate U2, especially on this 4th of July weekend. Which has nothing to do with U2, does it, 4th of July? I don't think that they don't have any music to get played at the fireworks shows. They didn't really do any patriotic things. They did that one song, "It's a Beautiful Day," but that really had nothing to do with anything, did it? It had to do with see the bedwind fires at night, see the birds at strip night, and the song just went backwards. He had amended on Friday to say he would stay in Trenton this weekend if government remained shut down, but his family would still go. Asked Saturday if it was fair for his family to be able to use the park while others couldn't, Christie was defiant. The governor has a residence at Island Beach, he said. Others don't. That's the way it goes. Run for governor and you can have the residence. Jeez! Ugh! Alright. Now, Steve had a problem with Comey, and I've spoken about the Comey conundrum. About how I despised Comey for helping Hillary lose the election. And then I love Comey for at least looking into what's going on with this Russian stuff. This some kind of Russian affiliation between Trump and Russia. And Steve, of course, saying that James Comey basically is a Nimrod for taking it hook, line, and sinker. That story about the quote-unquote dossier about Trump. Well, a group of FBI employees showed their support for former director James Comey by wearing "Comey is my homie" t-shirts to the Bureau's Family Day in Washington. This happened on Family Day. Was that this past weekend? And finally, here are some of the big tech trends that have dominated 2017. And I find this fascinating. One of them is autonomous cars. While driverless cars haven't taken to the road en masse yet, we've still got lots of huge moves in this space. The final frontier. One of the most visible was Alphabet's Google spinning out its driverless car division into its own company called Waymo, just 2 weeks before the new year began. Since then, Waymo, not to be confused with Whammo, that makes wonderful frisbees, has announced a partnership with Fiat Chrysler to test its technology in 600 of their company vans. They've set up a free riding program in Arizona for people to sign up to use the vehicle for their everyday commuting needs. Waymo is aiming to eventually earn revenue from its technology through autonomous vehicle rental services and by licensing its technology to automakers. Then there's artificial intelligence. Machine learning has quickly become a buzzword this year. Machine learning. Investors should pay attention as part of the broader artificial intelligence AI market. Machine learning is already transforming how companies process information. Jeff Bezos of Amazon said earlier this year in his investor note, "Much of what we do with machine learning happens beneath the surface. It drives our algorithms for demand forecasting, product search ranking, product and deals recommendations, merchandising, placements, fraud detection, translations, and much more. Though less visible, much of the impact of machine learning will be of this type, quietly but meaningfully improving core operations." Nearly everything the company does has to do with machine learning. Now there's also virtual and augmented reality. There have been too many big moves in the virtual reality and augmented reality space, the final frontier, in 2017 to ignore. One of the first, and International Business Times needs to stop using the word space, is what I'm saying, as they wrote this article. One of the first came at Facebook's F8. And if you hit F8 right now on your computer, you know what happens? Well, on my computer, it makes a marker on the Adobe Audition, just so you know. that I'm using. But back in May, the company showed off a slew of new augmented reality features for its flagship Facebook app. So basically, Apple's also making some big moves in the AR space. Damn it, International Business Times, stop with the space. Apple unveiled a new AR software development kit at its recent Worldwide Developers Conference. Developers they're going to be able to create augmented reality features and apps for the iOS 11. That's important because it means that once Apple updates its software on millions of devices, it'll create the largest AR platform and could spark more adoption for the technology. So they are working on their own augmented reality headset or pair of glasses, it is rumored. And then there's still plenty of time in the year for more tech trends to emerge. Well, thank you, Susan Fry of International Business Times. And you use the word space way too much, so get off that crutch word. My crutch word is thing. I say thing way too much. As we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. What's your crutch word? Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. You can also call the phone number, 1-336-MM-DAILY. That's 336-MM-DAILY. You can text that number too. Text charges apply. Well, I have stubbed my toe, and I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to sit all day and enjoy it. Next show, it's going to be possibly the 4th of July show. If not, have yourself a great 4th of July with the bombs bursting in air and all that wonderful stuff. Oh, that bomb went off a little too close to the ground, I would say. Dang. Not so good. Not so all right.
All right.
But we will have the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. Happy birthday, America.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!